At the beach south of Tel Aviv, a lifeguard picked up his microphone. Attention all bathers, it's not 100%, but there's a strong chance that the rat from the tunnels, known as Yahya Sinwar, is dead. And then it was confirmed. They knew Sinwar's death was a big victory for Israel and a big defeat for Hamas. The Israeli army released drone footage showing he was still fighting in his last moments. They said Sinwar, on a chair at the back of the room, had thrown 2 grenades and, obviously wounded, tried to fend the drone off with a stick before he was killed. It had been a chance encounter, and at first they didn't realize who they'd killed. Then soldiers saw the dead man resembled Sinwar. Yahya Sinwar, born in 1962, grew up in a refugee camp in Gaza. He spent 22 years in Israeli jails for killing 4 Palestinians who'd collaborated with Israel. So the security services had dental records and DNA to identify his body. In jail, he learned Hebrew, studied his enemy, and believed he'd worked out how to fight them. On the 7th of October last year, in a meticulously planned series of attacks, Sinwar and his men inflicted Israel's worst ever defeat and a collective trauma that is still deeply felt. The killing of civilians, the hostage-taking, and the celebrations of their enemies recalled for many Israelis the Nazi Holocaust in the Second World War. Prime Minister Netanyahu said the war would go on. Today he said we made clear once again what happens to those who harm us. We showed the world the victory of good over evil. But the war is not over yet. It is difficult and it is costing us dearly. Israel's response, a year of war, continued this morning. Around 25 Palestinians were killed and dozens more wounded in the latest big raid on Jabalia camp in northern Gaza. Israel said it bombed a Hamas command center. Doctors said the casualties they saw were civilians. Israel's response to the 7th of October attacks has killed at least 42,000 people in Gaza. Its war aims of destroying Hamas and freeing hostages have not been achieved, so killing Yahya Sinwar is its biggest victory yet. The Hamas organization that Sinwar and others built before the 7th of October attacks is largely broken. Left of Sinwar is Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas political leader who was assassinated in July. Israel doesn't let us into Gaza to report, but this reaction in Han Yunis, Sinwar's birthplace, was filmed for the BBC.
This war is not dependent on Sinwar, Haniyeh or Mishal, nor on any other leader or official. It's a war of extermination against the Palestinian people. As we all know and understand, the issue is much bigger than Sinwar or anyone else.
Many leaders have been assassinated before him, like Ismail Haniyeh. But someone else will always step in, and the struggle will continue.
Back in Israel, a few people stopped to celebrate at the forensics lab where Sinwar's body was taken. Tonight, Israelis are relieved and happy that their enemy has been killed. But Hamas still has its hostages, is still fighting, and will get a new leader. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Jerusalem.